Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Distinguished President, AKO leadership, faculty members, representative of government, national and international organizations, and esteemed colleagues. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. On behalf of the Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, Pakistan, and the Pakistan Business Council, I, Nabila Salim, faculty member at Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, extend warm welcome to all of you to the launch of Pakistan's Nursing Workforce Report. Today's event is a significant step towards understanding the nursing workforce landscape in Pakistan and exploring pathways to strengthen it locally and globally. We begin today's program with the recitation from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان.
Now, may I request everyone to please rise for the national anthem. Thank you, everyone. You may now be seated. To officially inaugurate this event, it is my honor to invite Dr. Zilaf Munir, Chairperson of the Pakistan Business Council and Managing Director and CEO of EBM, for the opening remarks.
President AKU, Dean School of Nursing, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I'm honored to welcome you today, not just as a chairperson of the Pakistan Business Council, but as someone who began her career in medicine and specialized in psychiatry. Through that journey, I've had the privilege of working closely with the nursing community in hospitals, in clinics, both in Pakistan and abroad. That vantage point has stayed with me. Although today I am here to speak about the economic impact of our nursing community. When we work side by side with nurses, you see not just the clinical expertise they bring, but also the emotional resilience and deep commitment that underpin our entire healthcare system. And you also see the contrast. In developed healthcare systems, nurses are empowered, respected, specialized, and part of decision making. In Pakistan, despite their skill and dedication, there are still challenges in recognition amidst systemic gaps and underinvestment. The demand for nursing is rising rapidly worldwide, driven by aging population, staff shortages, and growing healthcare needs. The WHO projects a shortage of over 4 million nurses by 2030. However, in 2024, only 0.4% of Pakistani workers registered abroad were nurses, a strikingly low number given the demand. The potential is immense. If we can equip just a few thousand more nurses each year with the right training, credentials, and structured pathways to qualify, not just to fulfill the need in Pakistan, which is immense, but also as roles in the impact on families, communities, and our economy when they are able to work abroad. This report, the PBC report, that we are very proud to be sharing with you today, outlines the barriers clearly. We produce far fewer nurses than we need, around 5,600 annually, which works out to be about 0.23 nurses per 10,000 people, far below the WHO threshold of 30 per 10,000. Education standards remain fragmented and often fall short of international accreditation. Licensing processes are costly and slow, with little institutional support for overseas placement. And nursing still faces social stigma, which affects recruitment and retention. So why does it matter? It matters economically and it matters socially. For Pakistan, this is both an economic and a social opportunity. More nurses working abroad means higher remittances, which are critical for our balance of payments. And as for a profession with strong female representation, and I'm proudly the first female chairperson of the Pakistan Business Council, nursing creates pathways for women, especially from rural or lower economic backgrounds, to gain financial independence and uplift their families. The solutions are within reach. Scaled nursing education without compromising on quality. Aligned curriculum with international licensing requirements. Reduce the financial burden of exams and processing. Establish government-to-government pathways for ethical, structured migration. And most importantly, change the narrative. So nursing is seen as a profession of skill, courage, and national importance. This is not just about filling a skills gap. It's about investing in human capital that can heal the world and strengthen Pakistan's economy. I want to thank the PBC CEO, who's right here, the PBC research team for this important work, our hosts at AKU for championing nursing leadership, and the nurses and educators whose voices shape this conversation. Let's begin conversations in investing in a future where dignity, discipline, and economic value go hand in hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zila, for your inspiring words. Now I invite Dr. Salima Valani, Dean Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, Pakistan, for her address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our chief guest is Dr. Ms. Nida Khuru, who will be here shortly. But I would like to welcome Dr. Zilaf Munir, Mr. Javed Qureshi, President Suleiman Shabuddin of AKU, and my nursing leaders, colleagues, people who have joined us here, and the PBC team for all your hard work and for your presence here. Thanks for joining us today for this very important dialogue. When I decided to host this launch event for this nursing workforce report by PBC, here at AKU, some of my colleagues asked me, why would we host this event to talk about migration of nurses from Pakistan? They asked me if we are now poised to facilitate migration of nurses out of the country. Are we going to start giving NCLEX exams right here in this auditorium? The answer is a resounding no. But the truth is that nurses are leaving Pakistan. We cannot afford to ignore this reality anymore. The report shares some data and insights about why nurses leave Pakistan. You may also ask me afterwards why I left Pakistan and why did I come back. There's a long story there. Migration of any highly educated professionals from one nation to another is driven by what we call pull and push factors. We know the pull factors in Kuwait and Canada and the US and Europe, in the Middle East, but do we know the push factors that are here in Pakistan? Why are our nurses leaving? What are the push factors? That's what I am hosting this event for us to talk about. Let's also be real in this meeting. We will not be able to solve all the various political, social, and other issues that make professionals in Pakistan leave their country. Here's an example of something that is not in our control. The issue of gas supply being shut down every night. It's a problem I've been working on since I came back to this country last year. It's been a work in progress. I'm thinking about making a task force about that. But I've decided I will just have to get used to cold showers in the morning. This is not something I'll be able to solve, even from AKU platform. Now here's another factor that you may think we can't control by improving the situation of nursing workforce, Pakistan's economy. But I beg to differ with you. We need to reimagine the value of this profession. Just think about how a society can progress economically when it has one of the highest infant and maternal mortality rates in the world. When it is one of the two only countries in the world where polio still is prevalent. When access to primary health care is so limited that people travel miles and spend lots of PKRs to come to tertiary care centers like here because they didn't know how to prevent those illnesses or what they can do because there were no nurses in their communities. We can change that by strengthening our nursing workforce. Nurses can play a critical role in improving population health outcomes. We know that. We've seen it in other countries, which will, in return, make people healthier and more productive, and that will improve our economy. We can do that by retaining, rewarding, and valuing our nurses. When I joined last year as Dean of AKU's Nursing and Midwifery, one of my very brilliant faculty member asked me, what will you do for the faculty who want to stay in Pakistan? What will you do, Dean Walani? And I said, honestly, I don't know what I can do alone. But it's true. Some nurses love their profession. They love this country. They do want to stay. There are those who have left, and they also, like me, wish to come back if we made it right for them to come back, if we made it right to stop people, nurses, leaving Pakistan in the way they are leaving. In June this year actually, International Council of Nurses released its revised definition of a nurse. What is a nurse, you may ask? Let me read a part of this definition, as I think it will set the stage for our deliberations today. A nurse is a professional who is educated in the scientific knowledge, skills, and philosophy of nursing, and regulated to practice nursing based on established standards of practice and ethical codes. The definition further established that nurses work autonomously and collaboratively across settings to improve health. The good news is, all in all, Pakistan has done well in the last couple of decades in standardizing curricula and opening higher education degree pathways for nurses. And I am proud to say that AKU's School of Nursing and Midwifery has influenced this agenda greatly by opening the nation's first baccalaureate degree program, first master's, and first PhD program in nursing. It's also great now that the requirements for entry into nursing practice in Pakistan is a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree. Remarkable. We are actually ahead of the US in this regard. But there is a bad news. The old stereotypes persist. And those in leadership of institutions and systems and HR have not yet recognized the impact nurses can make on the health of our nation. It takes 5 years of investment after 12th grade for an individual to begin practicing nursing in Pakistan. However, the socioeconomic rewards for such an investment of time and resources are limited in our society and within our healthcare delivery systems. There are no payment systems for nursing practice. Overall pay and grade disparity of nurses is shocking. And then the media keeps on projecting nurses as people of lesser status. With this, who wants to become a nurse or stay in this country or come back? And today we must ask ourselves, what are the actual implications of devaluing a profession so important that it can change the overall well-being of this country? We should ask ourselves, why is it that we have more than 2 doctors per nurse in this country? And what are we going to normalize this ratio? We understand that nurses leave Pakistan for better opportunities. But we should hope that those who want to stay feel welcomed to stay. And those who leave may want to return one day. In the recent years, we are seeing that many highly qualified, experienced doctors are returning to Pakistan. We should ask ourselves, how is this happening? Why are they coming back? Do you think that they all come back for the love of this country? Some do, but let's be honest. the societal status, the work environment, and the financial rewards for doctors in our society are much higher, much higher than for those nurses who come back or who stay or who don't go anywhere. So let's have a serious dialogue today. This is the platform where we will talk about what we need to do to strengthen our nursing workforce. My call to action for those of you with powers to make decisions is, please go back, when you go back to your institutions and your policy fora and your meeting rooms and conference rooms, please make it right for the nurses. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Valani, for sharing your visionary thoughts. We are honored to have with us Ms. Nida Khuro, Parliamentary Secretary, Health and Population, Government of Sindh, Pakistan, as chief guest with us. Now it is my distinct privilege to invite Dr. Suleiman Shahabuddin, President of the Aga Khan University, for his remarks.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Our chief guest, Ms. Nida Khuro, Secretary, Health and Population, Government of Sindh, Dr. Zilaf Munir, Chair of the Pakistan Business Council, and also a very strong supporter of the Aga Khan University, and we are incredibly grateful for your and your family's generous support to AKU. Thank you. Thank you for that. Dr. Salima Vilani, our Dean of the AKU School of Nursing and Midwifery, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much, Dean, for inviting me to speak. It's truly an honor and it's truly a pleasure. So first, I think I would like to acknowledge Pakistan Business Council for publishing this wonderful report, the Pakistan Nursing Workforce Report. And I really do hope that this report will be an eye-opener for government, for policymakers, for all of us. It talks about the opportunity of nursing. One could say the missed opportunity of nursing, but I would not say that. I will say it's really the opportunity of nursing that this report has shown. And there is so much that we can and that we should do. So clearly, the report talks about the nursing opportunity. It talks about areas where we need to work. Some of you gave numbers. You're absolutely right. We have 5.2 nurses per 10,000 of population. We should have much more. You talked about the WHO numbers and so on. The nurse to patient ratio in Pakistan today is 1 to 50. And the prescribed ratio is 1 to 10. And for specialized areas, the ratio is 1 to 5. So it just talks about how much gap we have. Zilaf spoke about 5,600 nurses graduating each year in Pakistan, and you're right. But what is astonishing is that just next door, Bangladesh produces twice that number. What is also astonishing, and we may like or may not like to talk about this, but India produces 50 times, graduates 50 times more nurses than we do in Pakistan today. So clearly, there is a push, and then we talk of migration. There's a push, there's a pull. We know that 8,000 nurses have migrated out of Pakistan in the last couple of years. That's a huge number, 8,000 nurses. Opportunities abroad are attractive economically, but all of you are right, Dean, you are right, that we need to create the resources, the environment in Pakistan to at least ensure that those who want to stay feel welcome to stay. I was in Oman a year back, and I was meeting the Ministry of Health, and there was a discussion on nurses, and he told me that, Mr. President, we are so happy to have nurses, so many nurses from AQ and from Pakistan working in our Ministry of Health. So I said, okay. And I said, now I mean, he's praising me, he's thanking me, and I'm saying, my God, I mean, what are these nurses doing in Oman? So I asked him, I said, you know, how much do you pay these nurses? I mean, what are their benefits? So he said, you know, we pay them $1,200 a month, net, and we pay for their accommodation and 1 or 2 tickets back home each year. So I told myself that, you know, I mean, when will come the day when we will be able to compete with some of this? And I'm not saying we should pay $1,200 or more or less, but all I'm saying is that the whole environment, the whole package needs to be attractive enough. So, in this report that has been published, it talks about migration, it talks about worker service exports. And these are people who have gone away, nurses who have gone away, but then they come back. So that's the brain gain that we have. And clearly, Dean, you are a shining example of the brain gain and of someone who has returned home in a leadership position to serve AKU, but also to serve Pakistan. So thank you very much for that. You know, this whole discussion about advanced practice nursing, and I was so happy that the report supports advanced practice nursing. I mean, this is a worldwide phenomenon. In the developed world, we have advanced practice nurses who diagnose, who treat patients, who prescribe medicines, and so on. But in Pakistan, this role does not exist yet. And it's a role that we need to, and this is also linked to the economic and financial opportunities. If you are an APN, if you have a practice of your own, a clinic of your own, or whatever that structure may be, facility may be, but that gives you an opportunity to also improve your economic being. So I know that Arkan University for many years has advocated advanced practice nursing, and I'm so happy that next year finally we are starting this program, which will be a landmark program. I should also tell you that at our Nairobi campus, we started at the School of Nursing in Kenya. We started advanced practice nursing a couple of years back, and it's a very successful program. In fact, I was so pleasantly surprised that we had students from Pakistan who were enrolled in the advanced practice program in nursing because it did not exist in Pakistan. So I'm happy that next year we will launch this program formally. You know, this whole issue about our health system being doctor-centric is so valid, and we should talk about it. These are things we should talk about openly. You know, I sit on the board of a big public sector healthcare national program that the Prime Minister wants to launch. And I sit on the Human Resource Committee of it by choice. And, you know, when we are going through the organization structure, you know, it was funny because the chief nursing officer was reporting to the medical director. And I said, no, this is not acceptable. We can't do this, right? I mean, we need to, our whole struggle is to equate the professions. So how can we have the CNO reporting to the medical director? But believe it or not, I was the lone voice in the room. And we are still discussing that point. We are still struggling with that structure. And there are very strong biases and mindsets that will have to be overcome. So I can stand here and speak about it, but I can tell you that there are strong mindsets that exist in our health system in our country that we together, collectively, will have to overcome if we want to give nursing profession the dignity and the respect that it deserves. So yes, you know, having said all this, there are many positive signs, many positive signs. I think that the negative perception of nursing are fading, and institutions have done a lot. I'm so proud of the role that the Arkan University has played since the School of Nursing and Midwifery came into existence from 1981. And His Highness the Arkan then said, the purpose is to transform the status of the profession, but also to transform the status of women in this country. And I think we are making progress in that. This whole status of nursing profession, as you can imagine, is also a dinner table discussion for me. My wife Zeenat, who's a graduate of AKU, is a nurse, and she's a CEO. And every time we talk about her CEO role, she brings the discussion back to nursing to remind me that she's a nurse first and then she's a leader. So, terrific. His Highness the Aga Khan said, and I'll quote, he said, "I've long felt the enhancement of the nursing profession to be absolutely critical to the improvement of healthcare in the developing world. The way forward is to professionalize, institutionalize, and to dignify this great profession." So this is where we need to go, to institutionalize, professionalize, and dignify this very noble, this great profession. So thank you again. Once again, I want to commend the Pakistan Business Council for this report, for this wonderful piece of work. And clearly you have pointed to the critical challenge, which is to deal with a severe shortage, but to also deal with the migration aspects. And there's a lot that we need to do. And your report points to working hours, your report points to mentorship, your report points to the compensation packages that we need to look at. And we have to do this. I mean, I will not, end on a negative note to say that we are running out of time. But I will say that it is time. It is time for us to take these actions. And all of us are leaders in our own rights. All of us, whether it's industry, whether it's government, whether it's civil society. But this is the call of the hour. This is the need of the hour. So while we are doing so many resets in this country, I really think that nursing is an area that we should seriously put at the top of the agenda for policymakers. And I know the parliamentary secretary is here and she will take note of this. But we should put this high on the agenda. So thank you very much for having me over. It's truly a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Dr. Shahabuddin. Moving forward, I am delighted to invite Ms. Farhanaz, Senior Economist at the Pakistan Business Council, to present the key findings and insights from the Pakistan Nursing Workforce Report.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and hello and welcome. I am Farhanaz, Senior Economist, as I was just introduced, and I am the lead researcher for this report. And the Pakistan Nursing Workforce Export Potential, Challenges and Recommendations. This is the report that we have worked on, and I would like to confess that I was one of those people who had that idea, that doctor-centric idea, that the doctors are the ones that we need and not that many nurses. But when I became a part of this study and I met all these incredible people, a part of the nursing sector, it really, really opened my eyes. So thank you for everybody for that. And these are the findings that I'll be sharing. And this event today is in collaboration with AQ Sonam. So let me begin. So the introduction. This study is a part of the PBC's analysis on the services sector. The PBC has a Make in Pakistan initiative, and it has 3 pillars: grow more, grow better, make more, make better, and serve more, serve better. This study falls under the serve more, serve better. The objective of the study is to suggest strategies to elevate the nurse's skill set and overall quality of care. The goal is to evaluate the potential of nurses to contribute to Pakistan through remittances and identify specific challenges that hinder their acceptance in the global market. The methodology, even though secondary data is used, the study extensively relies on interviews with key nursing professionals and overseas employment promoters and other migration-related organizations. So first of all, let's discuss the global trends of nurses migration. 1 in every 8 nurse practices in a country other than the one he or she was born in. Now, there are about 29.8 million nurses globally in 2023. And by 2030, the WHO estimates 4.1 million nurses shortage. And it's going to be, these significant gaps are going to be seen in Africa, Southeast Asia, the Eastern Mediterranean region, and parts of Latin America. The major exporter of nurses are Philippines and India, and they're mostly sought after by the UK, US, and Canada. Now, the impact of COVID 19. Before COVID 19, healthcare workers, especially nurses, were not that much important globally. But as soon as the pandemic happened, it underscored the critical role of global nursing workforce and highlighted the need for more sustainable and equitable international nurse migration practices. Now, this study also points out the global regions for nurses' careers. The study highlighted these key areas: the core Anglosphere, which are the English-speaking countries, US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, Gulf states, Europe, Nordic region, and developed Asian countries. What was found is that the licensing and registration processes are complex for all regions, especially for Pakistani nurses. And the earning potential, benefit, healthcare system, cost of living are similar for all of these regions. The GCC is more of a stepping stone because of its tax-free income. However, benefits, labor laws, worker protection, professional development, and career advancement is very limited, which makes it the stepping stone. For countries like the core Anglosphere, Nordic region, and Europe, basically because of their well-defined residency pathways, adjustable culture, and freedom movement of workers. Language barriers, however, exist for the EU, Nordic region, and developed Asian countries. Now, talking about the Pakistan's nursing workforce. As you can see, this is the nurses' migration trend. From 2015 to 2020, 200, 300 numbers, 400 numbers, but as soon as the pandemic hit, 1,700 migrated in 2021. As you can see, the saturation point is 2023, where 4,880 nurses migrated from Pakistan. However, this saturation point has gone down in 2024, which can explain we don't have that many nurses to supply. Now, we can see that the compound annual growth rate between these 10 years is 33.2%. And this is very important for the remittances. As you can see, these are the Pakistani workers registered abroad. Most of them, 50.1%, are laborers. And nurses make 0.4%. But what's important to see here is from 2019 to 2024, the compound annual growth rate is the highest for nurses, 54.2%, out of all of the workforce. So the nurses are the ones that are migrating the most. And the global patterns that are changing, where we don't need that much unskilled workers anymore, the skilled workers like nurses are what are needed abroad. Now, if we compare Philippines, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh in terms of nursing statistics, we can see, as was already mentioned, that lowest graduates, Bangladesh has double. But what is most astonishing is the nurse to doctor ratio, 0.4 in Pakistan and 0.7 in Bangladesh. It means 2.2 doctors to one nurse in Pakistan. In Bangladesh, it's 1.6 doctors to one nurse. However, if we look at India and Philippines, 5.3 nurses to one doctor in the Philippines, 2.4 nurses to one doctor in India. And the standard practice worldwide is 2 nurses to one doctor. So let's talk about the industry insights. There is a shortage of nurses in Pakistani hospitals and nursing institutions. As a result, there are not enough nurses to fulfill demand abroad. So if a hospital abroad says, provide us 50 nurses, we don't have that many to provide at the same time. And then nurses are not involved in key decision-making roles, even for nurses themselves. And a negative image of Pakistani nurses is being portrayed by the Pakistani media. And the stigma stigma related to the nursing profession is, however, gradually decreasing, and that is leading to more males opting the profession. Substandard mushroom nursing institutes and fake degrees are another problem that the Pakistani nurses are facing abroad. Then there's a lack of monitoring of these educational institutes, hence the mushrooming of institutes. And there's inconsistent admission, assessment, and grading in Pakistani nursing education. A theory and practice gap exists, and a clinical academia divide exists as well. Those nurses that are teaching are not able to practice. It's an unspoken rule. And those nurses that are practicing are not teaching. So that's a divide there as well. Then limited specialization options in Pakistani nursing degree, that leads us to having limited advanced practicing nurses. And then the dual impact of PEEF. The PEEF, although it provides scholarships, but it also asks the educational institutes to hold back the degrees, and that restricts students from applying abroad and to other institutions. And then the inadequate access to modern teaching technologies. Not all institutions across Pakistan have access to modern teaching technologies. There is a supply and demand imbalance. Abroad, there is a huge demand for female nurses, but we have an excess of male nurses. Delayed document verification processes. Accreditation, pre-departure training, and exams and tests are expensive. Constraints with Pakistani nurses locating abroad. That mostly has to do that many female nurses are not willing to migrate without family. There are also other constraints that restrict so. And then lack of support by Pakistani missions and government immigration bodies abroad. And then national curriculum barriers hinder nurse licensing abroad. That's because there are some terminologies that do not match the curriculum abroad, so our nurses are not even able to sit for the exam. So based on this, what this study has realized that just suggesting recommendations for migration is not enough. We need to uplift the nursing sector altogether. When we increase the number of nurses, when we increase the quality of nurses, then we can talk about nurses exports. So this section has been divided into 3 parts. First of all, for the improvement of nursing in Pakistan, we should try and retain a portion of nurses in Pakistan by improving and standardizing salaries, benefits, career path, and overall welfare. Elevate nursing leadership through merit-based appointments, not just seniority. And recognize and empower advanced practice nurses. Involve more nurses in decision-making, especially for nurses. And use the media to improve the image of the nursing profession. And leverage overseas expertise for nursing leadership. Encourage them to come back and contribute to the profession here. Now, about the nursing education, there should be policies to produce specialized nurses in Pakistan, especially at degree level, offer more specialization, then integrate clinical practice and academia in Pakistani nursing, and then standardize teaching, admission criteria, assessment, and training, and subsidized advanced medical equipment and simulation technologies for all institutes so that we have a quality throughout. Then regulate nursing institution affiliations. There should be a set number of institutes, nursing institutes, that can affiliate with one hospital. And then introduce multiple annual intakes in nursing institutions to increase the number of nurses. And then standardize the practical application of soft skills in nursing education, and provide scholarships and interest-free loans to nursing students. Now, speaking specifically about international mobility, there should be specific badges trained for specific countries, which includes language training as well. And then Pakistani missions abroad and government bodies need to facilitate these nurses because right now the nurses are on their own, and address curriculum terminology and accreditation discrepancies that do not allow nurses to sit in even in the exams. And then streamline overseas nurse employment through direct government to government collaborations. And then finance, then you have to reduce financial barriers as well for nurses that are applying abroad. There is an employer paid fees payment system where the employer is encouraged to pay the fees so that more and more nurses can go abroad. But that, again, can only happen through government to government collaborations. And then integrate police checks, subsidize licensing, and create a job registration system to streamline overseas deployment. So these are all the main findings summarized. You all have a copy of the report. Please do have a read if you haven't already for details. And I'm always available if you want to talk about it further. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Faranaz. Now I invite our esteemed chief guest, Ms. Nida Khuro, Parliamentary Secretary, Health and Population, Government of Sindh, Pakistan, to address the gathering.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having me here today. First of all, I want to congratulate all of you on the launch of this report, Pakistan's Nursing Workforce. Today, again, we gather here not only to celebrate the nurses, but also to recognize them as one of Pakistan's greatest untapped strengths. Nurses are not just the backbone of healthcare. They're actually its beating heart. They are the hands that heal, the voices that comfort, and increasingly the leaders in shaping the healthcare the way it is delivered. Today, the world is facing a staggering shortage of nurses for approximately over 4 million by 2030. I did glance through the report. I did whatever I could manage due to my busy schedule. I did go through the report a little bit. But anyways, this is a crisis for many countries, but I do feel that this is a best opportunity for Pakistan. Why? Because our nurses are dedicated, talented, and they are globally respected worldwide. In fact, I want to say that overseas employment for Pakistani nurses has also grown by incredibly approximately 54% annually over the past 5 years, which is a proof that the world recognizes our nursing excellence. But again, the fact-checked has to remain the fact-checked. We, back at home, we do face some crises. Like already mentioned, Ms. Faranaz already mentioned, that we do have only approximately 5.2 nurses for every 10,000 people, which is far below the WHO recommendation, which is to approximately 30. And for every nurse, we have approximately 2 doctors, where it should be the other way around. Now, this imbalance obviously strains our healthcare system, especially in the rural areas, where only a nurse might be there in the healthcare facility as a provider available. I'll give you a very personal experience. As a parliamentarian, as elected representatives, we do have to go to remote villages. So randomly, I did meet this young mother who was talking about her child. The child who had major difficulty in breathing. She was running from clinic to clinic, but apparently there was no doctor there available at the clinic. And the only one person who was available was a nurse. Now, that nurse did not hesitate. She did not feel reluctant. She gave all the immediate help that was required, cleared the child's airways, gave the child oxygen, and stayed by the side throughout the night. Obviously, mashallah, alhamdulillah, with God's grace, and obviously the effort made by the nurse. The child recovered, and the mother was just not praising the nurse. She said that, I just did not get my child back, I got my future back. Now, for me to give you this example just means that this is the power of nursing. Quiet, relentless, often unseen, but yet life-changing. So, here then, I will also like to add that now what shall we do to sort of overcome these challenges? Firstly, we must empower the nurses with leadership roles based on merit and expertise. Secondly, we must reform the education by integrating the global health competencies, simulation-based learning, specialized training, so that our nurses are ready, so that they're ready for both local and international challenges. We must retain talent over here also back at home. We cannot have a brain drain completely. We have to have something here, and we must offer a fair pay, safe working conditions, and obviously a career growth that is just not stagnant but grows for them, and value their services. Again, nursing is one sector which also is a powerful engine for women empowerment. Every nurse who works abroad is not only sending the remittances back at home, it is actually a message that they're sending back home to Pakistan, that our daughters, our Pakistan's daughters and sons can stand shoulder to shoulder together with the world's best. And this alone, again, is not the work alone of a government. It has to be a collaborative effort. The private sector, the academia, the development partners must come forward, step forward. There is requirement for funding of scholarships. The upgrading of facilities has to be there, supporting innovations in telehealth, digital health, and advanced nursing roles. If we invest in our nurses today, we are investing in a healthier and a prosperous Pakistan. Yes, the government of Sindh is always there to support you all. Whatever your recommendations are, whatever your suggestions are, our Minister for Health, Dr. Azra Pechu Saiba, you're all very familiar with her. She is a very accessible person and very accommodating. And yes, the health department will be there to ensure that whatever the requirements are shall be fulfilled with government to government basis. So today, again, as we all gather here together, let's share the commitment together that every nurse, and we actually should ensure that every nurse in Pakistan should be respected, empowered, and obviously ready to read the world here at home and anywhere in the world abroad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kuro. Now I would like to invite President, the Aga Khan University, Dr. Suleiman Shahabuddin, Dean, the Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, Dr. Salima Walani, and Chairperson, the Pakistan Business Council, Dr. Zilaf Munir, to kindly come forward and present a bouquet to our chief guest, Ms. Neda Kuro, as a token of appreciation. I request Ms. Faranaz, Dr. Salima Gulzar, and Ms. Marina Beg to kindly escort them. Thank you, everyone. Let us now hear from a rising voice in nursing. I invite Ms. Rabab Wadiwala, clinical nurse at the Aga Khan University Hospital, to share her perspective as a voice in nursing.
Okay. So, greetings and Assalamu alaikum to everyone. So, I'm Rabab Wadiwala. I'm a clinical nurse at the Department of Pediatrics, and I'm currently working at AKUH. So, fun fact about me, I deal with kids every day, and I love kids. I love Cocomelon. I'm pro at poems. I know all the nursery rhymes. I love my patients anyways. But today I'm dealing with adult population. So, it's very new for me. It's very different, right? But I'm looking forward to it. So, if we look forward to the future of nursing in Pakistan in this revolving healthcare landscape, so it's important to pause and just reflect on the amazing journey that we have made so far. So we have stood through pandemics, right? We have faced global health emergencies. We have seen COVID-19. Isse bura kya ho sakta hai? And we have cared for the patients in overcrowded wards during natural disasters in communities that the world even forgets. But yet, we being the nursing workforce always show up. It's not just as caregivers, but as leaders, as advocates, and as the backbone of our healthcare system. So just imagine a nurse who is walking alone in a ward with no break, no support, and no time to breathe. Now imagine, what if she had what she truly needed? What she needed? A safe nurse-to-patient ratio, compassionate leadership, dignity, respect, access to mental health support, room to grow, room to thrive, because when nurses thrive, the patients heal faster, families feel safer, and this healthcare systems become more stronger. So, as everyone discussed, I'll repeat it again, that in Pakistan, we have 5.2 nurses for 10,000 people. So, एक बहुत burden है हम पे. And around 5,600 nurses graduate annually, and then how many of them migrate? 31.4%. A huge number of them is migrating. Yet, the disease burden is continuously increasing. Non-communicable diseases, climate health emergencies, mental health needs, our healthcare system is crashing but yet evolving. So, alongside all these challenges, the nursing workforce have drastically evolved as well, being more stronger, being more resilient. Today, I see the future of Pakistan. The nursing future in Pakistan is bold. It's tech-savvy, it's research-driven. So we once had diploma programs only. Today we have BSc and MSc and PhD programs and even much more to go, right? So nurses are stepping into new roles. The nurses today are stepping into health informatics. They're stepping into climatic sustainability, research, policy making, being part of the global leadership, what next we need, right? So we are stepping into much more. That means that to truly shape the future of nursing in Pakistan, we have to invest in higher education. We have to step into leadership positions. We have to advocate for our rights, not just in the hospitals, not just in the wards, but yet on the policy tables as well. So, today, being a nurse, being a healthcare provider, being a frontline provider, I have a lens to what's coming. So I see young nurses being more creative, more empowered, having a sense of purpose. So yet, I can see nurses being appointed as the hospital CEOs. I can see that. Why not? Sorry. I can see nurses being the policy advisors. I can see nurses as the directors of the national health programs. I can even see a batch of nurse practitioners taking up their role very soon in the hospital. And I mean it, right? So, I can see nursing educators advancing in AI. I can see them advancing in digital health, in high fidelity simulations. So yet I don't see nurses in the boards only. I just don't see them in the hospitals only. Yet they're much needed there. But I see them in the communities as well. I can see them managing telehealth platforms. I can see them running their own mobile clinics. I can see them responding to climatic emergencies. So yet, the vision is wide. If Rabab can see it, we all can see it. So it's a whole new era. Let's not wait for the change. Let's be the change. So thank you for all for being a wonderful audience today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Rabab and Dean Valani. We now move towards our panel discussion on balancing global opportunity and local need, addressing the dual challenge of nursing workforce in Pakistan. I invite the moderator, Mr. Javed Qureshi, CEO of the Pakistan Business Council, to lead the panel discussion. Mr. Qureshi, the floor is yours.
Regional CEO of Aga Khan Health Services East Africa. Dr. Suleiman is the Regional Chief Executive Officer of Aga Khan Health Services East Africa, where she oversees strategic leadership in healthcare delivery across the region. In addition, she serves as the Global Head of Quality Clinical Programs and Projects for Aga Khan Health Services, driving innovation and excellence in healthcare standards. Dr. Suleiman also lends her expertise as a consultant with Joint Commission International, JCI, contributing to global healthcare accreditation and quality improvement initiatives. Our second panelist is Dr. Raisa Gul. She is the principal of Shifa Tamir-e-Millat. Dr. Raisa Gul is a distinguished professor and dean of the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery at Shifa Tamir-e-Millat University. She is widely recognized for her leadership in nursing, education, and curriculum development. Beyond her role as dean, she continues to influence the next generation of nursing professionals through her academic and clinical expertise. Our third panelist, Ms. Khairun-Nisa Huda. She is the Chief Nursing Officer of the Aga Khan University Hospital. Ms. Khairun-Nisa Huda, with over 30 years of dedicated service, Ms. Huda is the Chief Nursing Officer at Aga Khan University Hospital. She has been at the forefront of nursing leadership, spearheading numerous quality improvement projects, strategic initiatives, and capacity building programs. Her commitment has significantly advanced nursing practice and enhanced patient care standards within the institution and beyond. Welcome. And finally, Ms. Farida Shah, Regional Board Member, International Confederation of Midwives. Ms. Farida Shah is a seasoned public health, 2 decades of experience in midwifery and community health. She currently serves as the Eastern Mediterranean Regional Board Member for the International Confederation of Midwives, advocating for midwifery and health and donor-funded programs at Aga Khan Health Services Pakistan, where she leads impactful health initiatives across South Asia and Africa. Welcome. Thank you so much, Ji. Dr. Suleiman, I think I'll start with you, if that's okay. You work in improving healthcare quality, Mission International and Aga Khan Development Network. Please share some insights on how shortage of nursing workforce impact healthcare delivery and patient health outcomes.
Thank you so very much. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this panel today. My work in international hospitals, I go as the surveyor of Commission International Accreditation to many, many continents, Europe, Far East, India. I cannot survey Pakistan because in Pakistan they call other surveyors to come in. One of the things which I have seen in my own experience, and literature suggests that, and I'm not just talking about nursing literature, I'm talking about quality and patient safety literature through International Hospital Federation and other very, very renowned institutions. It is so obvious that where the institution where there is collaboration between healthcare practitioners, clinicians. First of all, I want to insist and underline the term clinicians. Nurses are clinicians. We are clinically trained and Dean Valani talked about the definition and science. Institutions where nurses and physicians and other health workers and cadres are sitting together, multidisciplinary care at same level, outcomes related to patient cares have improved. And I'm not just talking about nursing outcomes. Of course, good nursing care will reduce nursing beds, a patient's bed sores or patient falls, and sure, give good nurse-patient ratios, and those will happen. But I am talking and going beyond that. When I go to institutions in Europe, there is no institution, at least that Joint Commission institutions, where there are no morning rounds which are multidisciplinary. Rounds led by nurses, clinicians collaboratingly talking and giving their input to the patient care. So, we need to establish the role of nurses as equal clinicians. And that is important in a healthcare setting. I'm talking of hospitals. Of course, in the communities and in many, many hospitals, we are now talking about advanced nursing practice, where nurses are individual practitioners as well. So that's one thing which I have seen, that nurses are given more and more equal clinicians status. I've also seen in many other countries, I want to go back to this discussion of Pakistani nurses going out. I think there is nothing wrong in that. I mean, I heard Dean Vellani saying a few things, and I heard that. Guys, why not? Why not? Philippines is training nurses, yes, taking care of its own home first. Check out your own place, you know, ghar pehle apna saaf karen, phir bahar jaएं. That is a given. But why not? South India. South Indian nurses are in UAE. They are in Germany. 1 year of German language. I have met them. It's so nice to see my Asian nurses there. So I personally feel, and that's my view looking at when I go out, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Europe, we do have a lot of nurses from our neighboring countries. And I think we need to bring that out. Let's stabilize our nursing shortage. Yes, please, I'm not saying anything against it, but we must not also lose track of being also, because they will go. Nurses will go because of the reasons we heard about. Let us work on quality nursing in the country as well as taking them out. But it is a given. Strong nursing is the backbone in the hospitals, in the clinical arena. It's a given. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Isa, what are some key issues related to quality of nursing? What are some key issues related to quality of nursing education in Pakistan? Specifically, what are your thoughts about mushrooming of nursing institutes in response to increased demand of nurses? What immediate reforms are needed to address these educational quality concerns?
Thank you very much for this question. While sitting here in that chair and watching the report, I thought it's very clearly laid out all the issues related to nursing education and some solutions. Perhaps I will pick a few things which I think either more highlighted is required, or maybe it need more emphasis. And I will also offer some clarification with regards to Pakistan Education Endowment Fund withholding the degrees of nurses who were offered scholarship. So first, I think if we just summarize that there are issues related to the input, throughput. Input is, you know, who comes in, and the lack of standardization for admission. Apart from a very few institutions, there are not very clear mechanism who comes in. if we look at the criteria of Pakistan Nursing Council, it says only 50% marks in intermediate. So we have to keep in mind when you are talking about nurses not only producing for Pakistan, but migration abroad. We all are saying not without quality. Because if we keep increasing the number and we don't pay emphasis on the quality, it will backlash, right? A point will come that you will have many, and I think it has happened with some of the disciplines, which I hear, that then you have too many people, but they are not being hired. And you may have heard the story of some nurses were sent back, whether they were nurses or they were labeled as nurses, but there is a story which keep rotating. So coming back to that again, input, throughput, particularly I will say the faculty development plan. It has a connection. The connection is that in 2018, we said we will phase out the diploma and we will have degree prepared nurses. Though this planning had, I was fortunately part of that vision 2020 where, we said we will have degree nurses for entry to practice. At that time, we started the planning, but unfortunately, nothing happened. Zero planning. Because I was deployed from AKU to work with the government of Pakistan. But somehow it was something supported by the Canadian government, a project from SIDA, and also with the collaboration of Pakistan. So no planning further. And then in 2019, but also in 20, with the arrival of COVID, everybody realized the importance of nurses. I think almost every minister has a school or college of nursing. All the bureaucrats have, right? So you name, and what I'm saying, this is true. I think the survey should also have included that how many ministers in this country and how many bureaucrats in this country have colleges of nursing. I think this is something good. We have recognized the importance of nursing. This is something good. But the approach that, the way we are approaching, I think that is something wrong. Everybody is influenced. Pakistan Nursing and Midwifery Council, they want to have things in their way. The quality. I don't want to talk more and more because I will be completely derailed from the question, right? So there is a lot. So the planning of the faculty. I say if you want to make a building, you can double the labor or you can increase the labor, you can work day and night and you could do that. But if you want me to produce a nurse, instead of 4 years, in 1 year, I can't do that. I'm asked several times by the government, by the Higher Education Commission. Once I was called and I was said that the Prime Minister Saab is saying that produce that many thousands of nurses because we want to export, there is a big opportunity. My response was, sir, itni jaldi to main daiyan bhi nahi bana sakti, jitni jaldi aap mujhe degree nurses banane ko keh rahe hain. So I'm saying, I'm really, as a nurse, I really feel proud that nurses has gained so much recognition. We are so much wanted. But I think the approach to the quality, government of Punjab ne sabse zyada, they doubled the number of induction, right? But what happened with the teachers? Same teachers, you are asking them to teach. So quality is a major issue. Then I will say, so I talked about the intake, I talked about the throughput a little bit, about the teacher, and what we are doing, because for nursing, You need to have good faculty, you need to have resources, and you need to have very good place for clinical practice. It's an applied discipline, right? But so many colleges we have where they don't have a hospital. One hospital is affiliated maybe with 30 colleges, 40 colleges. So what is going to happen? There are students who have not seen the face of clinical maybe for a single day, right? So that is a very alarming situation, I will say. Then the last, we had the licensure exam, but because of the situation that I'm seeing, the small private institution, their lobby, that licensure exam was stopped. And though it is in the Pakistan Nursing and Midwifery Act, we still are not able to start it again. I personally, along with so many leaders, worked on that, but unfortunately, I'm not successful because there is a lot of pressure, that who wants. Another thing, the regulation, I think in the report you touched upon that, but a little bit in covert words. I'm saying it very open. Many people are entrusted to work for us, but they are not working with us. And I will say nursing will not improve until you decide to work for nurses, with nurses, not without nurses. And overall, we need better coordination, communication among all the stakeholders. I really appreciate all the stakeholders that they are taking so much interest in the development of nursing profession in this country. Yes, we have a lot of potential, but please, I will say we need communication, coordination, and not without, nurses with us. Yes, I'm very fortunate. I'm part of the Prime Minister Task Force. But one single nurse, and you have so many journals, you have so many doctors, you have so many this and that, right? And if you give me 2 minutes or 1 minute to talk, what will be my contribution? So I leave all of this to you. Better communication, coordination, and planning. If we plan, why we are giving example of Philippines, Bangladesh, this and that, we have a lot of potential, but we need to plan better. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional person when it comes to nursing. Thank you.
That was from the heart. That was from the heart. Thank you so much. Ms. Huda, you are the Chief Nursing Officer of AKUH. What are the challenges you are facing in terms of hiring and retention of nursing?
Thank you for that. Thank you for this question. But before I go into the answering that question, and I'm told that I also need to bring solutions for it from my management and from my seniors. So I'll bring some solutions to it. But before I go into the actual, response, I would certainly like to thank the writer of the report and Pakistan Business Council for having this report. And this has gone viral in people, and people are reading it. And thank you, Dean Salima, for joining hands with them and having this kind of forum where we are speaking about nurses. And I'm most glad to see a lot of people. I was not expecting are speaking about ratios, about compensations, about educational preparations. So, aaj khushi ka din hai bahut mere liye. The other thing is that I want to personally and professionally and on the behalf of nursing services would like to thank you, President Suleiman and our Board of Trustees and the founding Chancellor and the Pro-Chancellor and the current Chancellor for providing us with this opportunity, because when I was going through the report, I was looking at, we are at AKU, we are empowered, we are at the board meetings, we are given an opportunity to have a capacity building, professional development, what not we have at AKU. So thank you so much on our behalf. So, and again, thanks to you for putting up a question which sits at the heart of the health system. So again, we have been hearing that, shortage is there, the number keeps on changing every few years, but the shortage remains there. And like many other institutions, Aga Khan University Hospital also have this pressing challenge, and the most significant is the growing demands of nursing. And if you see, that is much more acute in Pakistan. And we have heard with the growing number of chronic diseases, the burden of chronic disease, the burden of infectious diseases. We had pandemic, the lack of primary healthcare services, the burden on the hospitals, and the nurse-patient story. And more to that, the profession itself is facing a dual pressure. The global burden, where nurses are being very much attracted towards the benefits offered, the migration opportunities, the immigrations, the tax-free salary, and many others. However, we're still at the national level struggling to retain the talent within the profession. And to work with that challenge, we have acknowledged, we have endorsed, and we have implemented some best practices. And those are the safe nurse-patient ratios. A few years back, we initiated staffing benchmark for all the levels of care. If a patient is in general ward, what level of care, what kind of nurse-patient ratio, and the literature is there. The multiple studies are there, and we have stick to that. So the first thing I have adapted is the staffing benchmark. And the second one was the professional development opportunity for nurses, because if I don't have that kind of opportunities, we won't be able to take care, and the burden of disease is increasing. So we have got Lippincott subscription for all our care providers. And within the AKDN, we share the complete cost of it and the benefits of it. The third thing we have implemented is the flexible schedules, where, nurses who are, because of the family reasons or from education, who cannot come as a full-time, they are allowed to work 4 hours a week, 1 shift a week, and then there's a flexibility goes on based on their performance and based on their needs. And we were not very flexible in the earlier years, but now as we learn, as we go through the literature, we adapt those best practices. And the other one is that, and the most prime one is their wellness component, where we need to take care of their burnout and their, if they do double shifts, if they have a heavy workload, we need to ensure that we take care of themselves. So this was my precise answer to your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Shah, the report suggests that midwives are critical for meeting the healthcare needs of the population of Pakistan, particularly of mothers and babies. Could you elaborate on their critical yet often overlooked contributions, particularly in maternal and newborn care? What are the current system challenges related to the scope of midwifery practice?
Thank you very much for bringing up this very important question. The midwives are backbone of maternal and child care, neonatal health services, especially for the rural areas and underserved areas. The midwife not only attend births, they also provide a broad range of reproductive, family, newborn services to the women and their newborns. So many of the women, these midwives are the first point of contact, and some of them the only source of skilled attendants, skilled provider at the rural and underserved areas. And every day they save lives, as rightly shared the experience by the Parliamentary Secretary Saiba. So every day, their efforts save lives. Coming to the global, how midwives are critical, there are lenses on midwifery and their practice. And again, Lancet series of quality of midwifery care, and midwifery report, WHO report says there are conditions, right? When educated to the international standards and allowed to fully function their scope of practice and fully integrated into the fully functional health system as an autonomous profession, not like, it's nurse midwife, it's autonomous profession. So this midwife can 90% of the own health and SRHR services to the women. And that can reduce threefold of mortalities: maternal mortality, newborn mortalities, and stillbirths. So Pakistan is the one of the contributor of the neonatal mortality in and the top contributor in the Eastern Mediterranean region. So this is something very, very critical. If we unfortunately, and now the WHO again is moving to the transitioning to the midwifery model of care globally. So that is cost-effective and women-centered. They can, for countries like us, LMICs, it's very, very crucial to bring, going from the medicalized model of care or doctor-centric care, your report says, to the midwifery model of care. So, yet in Pakistan, the potential of midwives are held back. The education is number one in the international standards. The scope of work is not clear. And they are not fully functional, integrated in the healthcare system. If we look at the service structure, the grade of midwife is grade 6. It's so unfortunate and low. And if you know they are not autonomous to provide that care. So, and the career opportunities are limited. So, when we globally sitting on the global member and representing this region, we have started this standardized education in UAE last year. Saudi Arabia started this year. And for me, it's like a chirag tale andhera. Because from the country, advocating at global level in my own country, we do not have that. So fortunately, recently we have started this for direct entry 4 years in Islamabad. Health Services Academy has started. We are going to start in KP and in Lahore. Like as the president said by previously in nursing education, the Aga Khan University, they brought up this BSc nursing, masters in nursing, PhD in nursing. It's all started from Aga Khan University and from Sindh province. And unfortunately, the Sindh province, this is now you are back behind, like all other provinces have started. My last point is Pakistan is signatory of the Sustainable Development Goal. The goal number 3, the target 1 is improving the child health, where the universal health coverage is also part of this. If we would like to achieve, my request to the government and again to I will take an opportunity of presence of the President Saab here. We have to strengthen the midwifery education. And especially for Aga Khan University School of Nursing, we need to take back the M component of Sonam, because somewhere we lost the M component. So it's my humble request to the President Saab. I am taking, the opportunity, and then Dean and all, leaders here. So we need to standardize the education, and we need to define the scope of practice and protect it. Not only definition, we need to protect it, and we have to integrate this in the primary healthcare system. Even the midwife is a midwife is a midwife is a midwife. From primary to tertiary, they can, like in the tertiary care, the midwifery model of care, they can provide, 85% of the maternal and child care is provided by midwives. Only 15% we need obstetric services. So that, collaboration they can make. The CNO is also sitting here. My humble submission from that, even from the, tertiary care, they can do it. So the evidence is clear. My taking away points is evidence is clear, need is urgent, it's time to act. Thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
Well, that was so incredibly passionate. How are we doing on time? Do we have time? Okay, so then I'll go with our second round of questions. How's that? Dr. Zeenat. What are some measures do healthcare leaders need to undertake to increase productivity and quality of nursing practice in acute care settings?
I'm a nurse by training and passionate about it. Let me put my hat of an administrator. I am a CEO now. I have to look at my business, my books. I have to balance my books. I have to have revenue generation. I have to look at my physicians who are bringing patients, and I have to look at my nurses who need to be talking about salary and empowerment, etc. What do I expect from the nurses to give it back to the system? I think this is a question we as nurses need to ask ourselves. We can ask the government, we can ask everyone, but what is our stance here today as nurses? I think it's also important that we do a bit of soul searching for ourselves. Our training programs, do we prepare the nurses with the right communication, right leadership, right autonomy? Sure, if admission criteria is 50%, nobody even follows that up, so throughput and all those are important. But being responsible as nurses, we need to do a bit of soul searching to say, what do we stand for, right? At least I would like to speak on behalf of Aga Khan Development Network. As nursing educators, researchers, or practitioners, in this system, we have the ownership to be the role models. We have the ownership to stand up for our profession, for our patients, and really go beyond our day-to-day. We need to think about many other things. I want to challenge my nursing colleagues of Aga Khan University Hospital. Do we know budgets? Do we understand health economics? Do we understand the issues of School of Nursing, because they all come to us? So there is so many things we can demand, our president, our deans, our nursing council, but I think it's also important that we talk to ourselves and our responsibility to be professionals in our own rights. Easier said, I appreciate that, but let's question ourselves. That's where I would leave it, that it's not all about you guys. What about us? What is our accountability and responsibility as nursing profession? Thank you.
Thank you. That was terrific. Dr. Gul. In light of the growing global demand for specialized and advanced practice nurses, how can Pakistan revamp its nursing education system to enhance specialization, improve quality, and increase the international competitiveness of its nursing workforce?
Thank you very much for this question. I'm not a historian, but I think sometimes it's important to give a little bit of knowledge with the specialization. For decades in Pakistan, we had 1 year specialization in different areas, cardiology, community, ER, and so on and so forth, many specialization. And the colleges in each province used to offer that, but that was the time when we were offering general nursing diploma program to become a nurse. So this was 4th year, and midwifery was also seen as a specialization of 1 year. But unfortunately, again, there was a discord between preparation and deployment. It was not necessary that a nurse who had a diploma in cardiology, that she did it to improve her skill and she will work in cardiology. And you know, again, in the interest of time, I'm not going into detail, but the motives were something else. The motive was also that they will have an increment and, you know, other things. So, and it was not so much fault of the people, but it's also, again, system, you know. We spend money, we prepare people, don't deploy them in the right place. So then what happens now, what is happening? That we have the degree, because those specializations were named as post-basic diploma. So the graduates of today, for them, though again I will say it is a misconception, you could have a diploma, postgraduate diploma, we have in medicine, we have in other discipline, but medicine, you know, our close sibling. So there is nothing wrong with post-basic diploma, but I think it is very difficult to convince our young generation. So what we need to do, of course, we have to change our way of repackage the curriculum for specialization. I think what needs to happen, I have already started working, at least in my institution. So what we will do, we will, like two things can happen. One is that you have postgraduate diploma. People do that. If they want to exit it, they can exit. But if they want to come within 2 years again, they can do some more work, their thesis subject, and they could have studied with special. Want to exit as a specialized nurse in an area, they could work. You know, they could work in a specialized area. They could earn some more. They could afford their education. So in short, I will say, yes, it is very much important. It was there, but the old model is not working. So we have to repackage that thinking and rename it, repackage the curriculum, and again, the way the processes has to change. And I'm hoping, at least for my institution, I have started that work. And again, Nursing Council, I think that is one thing, as I was saying, work with us, not around us or without us. Because right now the thinking is that nurses can't do it. The actual issue was not having the right people in the right place. But now the thinking is nurses can't do it, give it to doctors. Now it is give it to somebody else, khalaik makhluk ko de dein, sab theek ho jayega. So I think that is something that, you know, we need to change that. That is very important. So if we have the strong regulation body there, we have many experts, alhamdulillah, so many you see here, but there is no depth, I will say. So we need to continue with that thought. And it shall continue and it will continue, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. So it's really been quite outstanding. Thank you very much, all of you. Such exceptional professionals, so much passion. It's really quite inspiring.
And I forgot, that is very important. When we are sending, who do we send? I think if one thing we could work on, that there has to be a standard. When I was saying clarification about Pakistan Education Endowment Fund, because we got funding to prepare educators. So educator, all I'm saying that educator, they need to at least serve 2 years. Apne ghar mein at least 2 years to serve karen, and then they can go abroad. When they go abroad, they are not working as an educator, they will be working at the bedside. So हमें दो जगह से नुकसान हो रहा है. ठीक है, we need mentors, we need educator if we want to enhance our production. Without, you know, if you take all the cream out, you know, then what will happen to your production? So I leave you with this thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Qureshi, and all our panelists. To conclude today's formal proceedings, I invite Dr. Salima Gulzar, Associate Dean, Outreach and Partnerships, for the closing remarks.
So, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. And as we come to close of today's event, I want to thank all of you for being with us, especially our chief guest, Ms. Nida Khoro, President Suleiman Shabuddin, who has just went outside to call, and then our AKU leadership, the team from Pakistan Business Council. I extend my deepest gratitude to Dr. Zilaf Munir, the esteemed chairperson of Pakistan Business Council. I also would like to acknowledge the dedicated individuals who made this collaborative study possible. The brilliant authors, Samir Amir, the Director Research, Faranaz Atta, and the entire policy team at PBC. Also a special thanks to Mr. Javed Qureshi, CEO of PBC, for
conducting such an engaging panel discussion, and to all the esteemed panelists, and finally to the audience for their participation and contribution. All the amazing guest colleagues and partners who have joined today. This has been incredibly important conversation, one that highlights not just the challenges, but also the possibilities that lied ahead of our nursing workforce. The report launched today reminds us how valuable our nurses are, not just here in Pakistan, but around the world. They are the driving force behind our health system, competent, compassionate, deserving of greater recognition and opportunities to shine. We have heard powerful thoughts from our speakers and panelists, and I believe we all share a common vision to strengthen nursing in Pakistan, to invest in our future professionals, and to explore opportunities for ethical and sustainable global engagement. But this will only happen if we all work together. Government, academic institutions, nursing professionals, bodies including PMNC and Pakistan Nursing Federation, and nurses themselves. As we conclude, let us not allow this report to remain forgotten on our shelf. Let us treat it as a roadmap, a starting point for policy reform, for investment, and for meaningful change. Thank you again to everyone who have helped make this report and event possible. And most of all, thank you the nurses and the midwives whose everyday work continues to inspire the world. Let us carry this energy forward and work together to give nursing in Pakistan the recognition, investment, and respect it rightly deserves. I would end with a quote by Confucius. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Dr. Gulzar. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's program. You are invited to join us for the high tea and networking outside the auditorium and enjoy the live performance of our students. Thank you all for being here today and for your continued commitment to strengthening the nursing workforce in Pakistan. Shukriya, thank you, and Khuda Hafiz.
Hello, I am Salima Walani. I am the Dean of Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery. And we hosted this event here in our beautiful auditorium at our School of Nursing campus with PBC, Pakistan Business Council, to promote the cause of nursing, to promote the agenda of nursing in Pakistan. And the report highlighted many, many things we have to do, not only to make nurses global citizens, but also to make the needs of our country met. Nurses are on the rise, they are in demand. We have many educational opportunities for nurses, and we really believe that the Pakistan's industry, government, healthcare systems have to recognize the importance of the profession of nursing and reward it as it should be rewarded. Thank you.
today's session was very very enlightening, and I think हम जो इतनी टाइम से ये बात करते आ रहे हैं कि नर्सेज कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट है इन हेल्थ केयर सेटिंग, आज जो है खुल के लोगों ने बात की इसके ऊपर. And I just would request the media that start showing nurses in your drama in a appropriate attire and with showing them कि वो कितने अच्छे clinicians हैं, उनके बगैर hospitals और services नहीं चल सकती है. So we have to start यहाँ से कि भाई what can we do to make sure कि nurses हमारे यहाँ पे retain करें and ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम produce करें quality nurses, not in mushroomed schools of nursing with limited faculty who are educated. Trained faculty पे काम करें, हम अच्छे nurses produce करें, हमारे अपने country को health care standards को improve करें, and then nurses can go out. Why not? ये भी हमारे लिए बहुत important economical upliftment होगी कि अगर हमारी nurses जो है वो पाकिस्तान के अंदर भी सर्व करें और बाहर भी जाएं. Thank you so much. I think today's session was very very interesting and enlightening for me.
So, Assalamu alaikum. Today, this event, which is a launch of a nursing workforce report by PBC, AKU, Sonam, Aga Khan University, School of Nursing and Midwifery has hosted this event. So, we both have collaboratively launched this report for today. And I must say there is a lot that we can do in the nursing field or for the profession. So long way to go, and I think our nursing professional body play a very very critical role, and we have to really activate and strengthen more the Pakistan Midwifery and Nursing Council and then Pakistan Nursing Federation, and these are so critical nursing body that we can excel if these bodies are activated or strengthened up further. The next important thing I think in the nursing force and nursing discipline is the quality education. So once if we are highly qualified, quality education that we nurses will receive, then we are there at the policy level. We can contribute at the policy making, policy development and policy implementation. So this is what I think is the real need of the world, that nurses are not only involved at the bedside level or at the community level, but at the policy level also. So thank you for all who have organized this.
ओके जी, मेरा नाम डॉक्टर रईसा गुल है. आई एम प्रोफेसर एंड डीन शिफा कॉलेज ऑफ नर्सिंग, शिफा तामीर मिल्लत यूनिवर्सिटी. और ये जो आज का इवेंट था नर्सिस के हवाले से, जो फैक्ट्स हैं, द स्टेटस ऑफ नर्सिंग इन अ वे इन पाकिस्तान, वो और इसमें हमें क्या करना चाहिए टू इम्प्रूव द क्वालिटी, और फिर गोल जो एक इस वक्त फोकस है पूरे पाकिस्तान का कि कैसे हम नर्सिस, ये जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है नर्सिस माइग्रेशन की, उसमें पाकिस्तान अपना हिस्सा कैसे डाले. तो बिल्कुल हमें हमारे पास बहुत सारी यूथ है, हमारे पास अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूशन हैं, और जो हमारे गैप्स हैं फैकल्टी वगैरह के, उसको इम्प्रूव करके तो पाकिस्तान हैज़ अ लॉट ऑफ पोटेंशियल कि हम भी इस में अपना हिस्सा डाल सकें और हमारी नर्सेज जो हैं वो बाहर जा सकें. तो ये जो रिपोर्ट बनाई है, ये एक बहुत अच्छी एफर्ट है, एक अच्छा रिसोर्स होगा पाकिस्तान के लिए कि जिसने भी मज़ीद देखना है. आई थिंक अगर इसको हम अच्छे स्पिरिट में यूज़ करें तो दिस इज़ अ वेरी गुड रिसोर्स. तो खाली रिपोर्ट बनाई नहीं गई, स्टेक होल्डर्स की जो आज ये अवेयरनेस थी, आई होप कि जिस मकसद के लिए ये बनाया गया था कि ऑल द स्टेक होल्डर विल यूज़ दिस रिपोर्ट और इससे मुस्तफ़ीद होंगे.
Thank you so much for organizing this very important event and producing the very essential and need of the hour report on the nursing workforce and the global challenges and global opportunities and local challenges. It's wonderful that can educate the government agencies and other people how important this is and how we can, how we can produce quality workforce, and it also help them to understand the local needs. It's not only we can export the workforce. We need also we need to retain them in the country. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity to talk about the Medifree. As I mentioned during the panel discussion, that it's very essential. There is a clear evidence of importance of midwifery workforce. They are essential, and they are they can provide 90% of essential SRH maternal reproductive health services to the women and their newborns and their families, and it can reduce threefold of the deaths, mortalities, and reduce the morbidities as well. So this is the crucial time. As I mentioned earlier during the discussion, the evidence is clear, and the need is urgent, and this is high time to act. This is my takeaway for today's session. Thank you so much.
This was the fantastic event which has generated a lot of interest and information around. The report itself is an evidence from Pakistan which talks about nurses and their burnouts and their numbers and their migration. And above all, this is the piece of information for the stakeholders and the policymakers. For nurses, we need to ensure that they feel valued at Pakistan. And when we say that they feel valued, just not in terms of words, but the systems we build, the opportunities we create, and the policies we enforce. Thank you so much.
It's been a great experience to attend this program, who has combinedly, collaboratively been hosted by the Pakistan Business Council and with the Aga Khan University. So the Aga Khan University always been there for the promotion of the nurses. So what I get from this program, that we need nurses not only by the numbers, by the quantity, but we need the nurses by the quality as well. So this program basically give the insight, give the awareness about what the profession is and what is the future of nurses in coming days. So thank you so much, and I would like to appreciate again both the agencies, and to uplift the program and to uplift the profession. Thank you.
That was such an amazing session, so much energy in the room. Work done by the PBC and by Farah in particular was just amazing. Really wonderful to be a part of this, and let's hope we can build on this, and let's hope we can get something done. Nursing is so important, and I think it's a huge opportunity for everyone. Thank you.